In this video, I'm going to be covering ways to identify the use of the subjunctive. So it's really important that you're taking notes on this. You need these resources to be able to handle the subjunctive easily. So take notes on the kind of things that you're looking for when you see the uses of the subjunctive we now know. Cum clauses, both causal and circumstantial, indirect commands, indirect questions, purpose clauses, and result clauses. So please take notes in your notebook and bring them with you tomorrow. This will be like a helping guide to help you deal with the subjunctive. So when we're looking at some sentences, I can see all of these have a subjunctive verb. So I'm seeing an issa, so pluperfect, an infinitive, so this is an imperfect, an imperfect, an imperfect, another imperfect, and a present subjunctive. So I've got all of these subjunctives, and I'm trying to figure out what they're doing. Well, when I'm looking at the first two, I'm seeing the word cum, so that makes it pretty clear that both of these are, cum clauses. Now, whether they're causal or circumstantial will come through in the translation, but it's seeing the cum that really helps me identify the cum clause. So that's really what you're looking for, is the word cum plus a subjunctive, because we also have other uses of cum that are not with the subjunctive. So when or since the amici, friends and relatives in Uwiscent came in, entered. When or since the friends and relatives had entered, the auspex, the priest, sacrificavit, sacrificed the pig. So what do you think, when or since? Probably when, so we would say that this one is the circumstantial one. But then when we look at the second one, when or since the omina, those are the omens, when or since the omens were good, Cornelia and Valerius Juncti sunt were joined together. So what do you think? Probably since, because the omens were good, they were able to, get married to be joined together. So those are what we're looking for, cum plus the subjunctive. When we come into indirect command and indirect question, really need to think about what the purpose of the thing that comes after the verb is. Are we replacing what would have been a command or what would have been a question? So we're looking at these two parts, and we're trying to figure out what we're saying. Both of these are introduced by the verb rogo in this case. We can use lots of other words, but rogo can mean to ask a question or to ask someone to do something. So we really want to be careful about which one we have. Valerius rogavit asked Cornelius, ut Cornelium sponderet. So here's our word, promise Cornelia. Did he ask him, what did he ask him? He asked him to promise Cornelia. So that would be, was that a question or a command? Yeah, that's the indirect question. And so we've got that word, a word of asking or commanding, some kind of verb like that, wishing, wanting. And then the actual clause has ut, or if it's negative, ne, plus a subjunctive. So that would be our indirect question. So not indirect question, sorry, that's the exact opposite of what I was just telling you. Indirect command. Okay, so we've got our indirect command. But when I look at the next one, I see that Cornelius and Aurelia rogavant asked Cornelia, quid velet. Well, quid is a question word, meaning what. So what she wanted. So now they were asking her a question, so that would be indirect question. So again, I've got a verb of asking, but I've got it plus a question word. So in this case, the quid plus the subjunctive. When I move on, I'm just going to scroll this up just a little bit. To purpose versus result, both of those will have ut if it's positive plus the subjunctive. So we really need to think about what kind of information I'm getting. So Marcus carried the toga praetextam, so his toga of boyhood, the toga with a purple border, into the atrium, ut laribus consecraret. So if we were just going to handle this alone, we've got the idea of he sacrificed it to the Lars. So Did he carry it in such a way that he sacrificed it, or did he carry it in order to sacrifice it? So if he carried it in order to, that's showing the purpose, the reason why he carried it, and that's what we have here. So we have ut plus the subjunctive. If it was negative, I'd have ne plus the subjunctive. And it's explaining the purpose of that main verb. So why did he carry it? He carried it into the atrium in order to sacrifice it to the Lars. When I come into the next sentence, though, I see that Cornelia is happy, but she's not just happy, she's so happy that Flavia quoque in matrimonium duci velet, that Flavia Cornelia is so happy that Flavia also wants to be led into marriage, to get married. So here, that adjective or adverb, things like tom, seek, ita, tantus, taught, all of these words like that, plus ut, or and any kind of normal negative that I'll summarize as non, plus the subjunctive, helps me explain not why something happened, but what happened because of the main action. So it's almost the reverse. So in a purpose clause, we're answering why something happened. In a result clause, we're answering what happened because something else happened. So Cornelia wasn't happy in order that Flavia would want to get married, but Cornelia was happy, and as a result, Flavia saw this happiness and she wanted to get married also. So those are the kind of things that you're thinking about when you see these subjunctives, so that you can indicate whether you have a purpose clause or a result clause. So for your homework, what I need you to do is in your notes, write down each use of the subjunctive we know, the function of each use, the formula for the clause, so for example, cum plus the subjunctive, and an example. And all of that should be in your notes. The example can be the one we worked on today, but you need all of that written down systematically in your notes. So I'm going to show you again real quick what all those uses are to remind you. So those are cum clause, causal versus circumstantial, indirect command, indirect question, purpose clause, and result clause. Thank you.